To this video, we are going to cover all these different question types from the listening section. I already went over the right from dictation, which was the most important part, and in this video we're going to cover all these other questions which are low importance, but I've ranked them in order of importance, so we're going to go over them in order of importance. So the one on top has the highest weighting and the one below has the lowest weighting. So we're just going to go through them really quickly. I think this is a quick refresher of where your points are coming from in the listening section. Pause the video if you want to have a quick look at it. Otherwise, let's get straight into it. So we're going to go through this real quick and I'm going to share with you tips that apply. But just before we get into it, I want you to keep in mind that no matter what question type you get in the listening section, if your listening skills are poor, you're going to do bad no matter what strategy you're using. Okay, so first, work on your listening skills. If they're really poor, listen to the first overall video that I have around that, and after that, strategies are something that you apply on top of your good listening skills. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So highlight incorrect words is where you're listening to an audio and there'll be a transcript on screen and you need to simply click what word is different. So in this example, phrased is different than based, so you just click on the word phrase. So wherever you hear a different word than what you read, you just click on that and you move forward. So how you are scored? You basically get 1 point for each correct word that you select, -1 for every incorrect word, and the minimum score that you can get is 0. So even though there's negative scoring here, the minimum you can get for each question type is 0. Some key points to focus on: there's negative marking here, so be aware of selecting answers that are right. Be super focused on this section. So this is towards the end of the test, so it's no time for you to lose your concentration. In general, the listening section is towards the end of the exam, but this question in particular, if you lose focus, you're going to really feel the pinch, because sometimes you have words that come in quick succession like this, and if you're not focused, you're going to miss out on these examples. It's super important that you have your mouse pointed at the beginning of the text before the recording. We'll do an example, but generally you want to move your cursor as the recording goes along. Read the sentence in your mind, and as the recording is being played, quickly click on any word that has been changed by the speaker. Okay, so I'll just move my cursor around. It's important to not lag behind while doing this. The text you are reading, so if I'm reading this text, I don't want to peep my cursor here. I want to be where I'm reading it. The text you're reading and recording that is playing should be more or less the same word during the entire recording. Look out for words in quick succession. So those are just some things to keep in mind for you to do well in the exam. This tip in particular is super useful. As long as you keep the cursor in line, you will be fine. That even rhymes. As long as you keep the cursor in line, you will be fine. Yeah, that's the pro tip. Okay, let's do maybe a quick example if we can for select missing word. I'm just going to put my headphones and you can do it along as well at home. Sorry.
Earlier this year, I was driving through the countryside with a girl of 6, and she...
Highlight incorrect words, and we'll get started.
For some people, this proposition may seem far-fetched, but ending poverty is both morally necessary and actually feasible. All of us must play a role in making it happen. All human beings want and have a right to live in dignity, to determine our own destinies, and to be respected by other people. Despite the universality of these rights, our capacities to fulfill them vary enormously. And no dividing line is more profound in influencing the quality of our lives than the gulf between poverty and prosperity.
Okay, so that was the question. Let's see how I did. All good, 5 on 5. So again, key things: I was keeping the mouse in line with the recording. I clicked on anything that was incorrect, and I was paying super close attention and super focused to ensure I don't miss out on anything. So this is kind of how you do this question type in the exam. Okay, fairly straightforward, but you just need to listen and move your cursor in the same line. So they will obviously keep words that kind of confuse you, like three and these. It can sound kind of similar. Dividing can sound similar. So they're going to trick you with this. So you really need to be focused and pay attention to what is being said versus what is there in the text. Okay, because you will have like words that sound similar, but they're actually different. So you need to pay attention. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Fill in the blanks. This is where you have an audio being played and you need to simply fill in the blanks based on what is missing. Okay, 1 for each correct word spelled correctly and 0 for any incorrect word. Relatively straightforward. Like I said, stay with the audio and text on screen. Don't lag. If left behind, don't bother. So if you're going through the recording and if you miss out on a particular blank, like don't try to spend too much time thinking about it. Just get back to the recording and get back to the where the audio is being played. So always your cursor and the where the audio is being played should be at the similar position. You can correct spellings later, so don't spend too much time working on spelling. Just capture the word, and if you spelled it incorrectly, you can always come back to it. People struggle with timing later. Make sure you do not spend too much time like completing this question. 30 seconds to correct all your spellings should be good. Again, things to watch out for: blanks with quick succession, so it might not give you enough time to write down the correct answer. Singular and plural, so for example, if the word said is strategies with an S and you say strategy or you type out strategy, that counts as an error and you don't get any marks. So make sure that you're spelling the word exactly as you heard it and you watch out for these plural forms. Maybe let's do a quick question practice type just so you know how to do it. Fill in the blanks and let's get into it.
Is that person really glad to see me? Or are they just being polite? Some people struggle to distinguish a fake grin from a truly happy smile. And computers have found this task even more difficult, that is, until researchers develop a program to detect when a smile is genuine. Visual computing researchers at the University of Bradford in the UK started with software for simulating a changing facial expression. This program can examine a video clip of a human head and identify specific details around the eyes, cheeks and mouth. Then the program tracks the details moving relative to each other as the face smiles. Next, the scientists had their program analyzing 2 sets of video clips. In one, subjects performed posed smiles.
Okay, so that's the answer that I've given. Analyzing. What's wrong with that? Analyzing with a Z. Okay, so that's a spelling mistake there. Is it analyzing with a Z? Yeah, so I think so based on if you're using British English or UK English, that should count as right in the exam as well. But regardless of that, pretty straightforward. Just type out the blank as you heard it and you should be fine. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. One thing to watch out for was this details with an S. I could have easily listened to that as detail, but I was attentive, so I made sure that I did not make that mistake. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Oops, yeah, before we get to the next question, how you're going. So that's like an Australian greeting. How you're going, this is basically how are you doing. Somehow they say it differently here. And yeah, some of you might feel like stopping, having a cup of tea, but that can wait. Make sure that you're focusing and paying attention to this video. And this is kind of how it might feel as you're preparing for this exam and doing this course. Maybe you go through these difficult times, it's raining, you don't feel like preparing, then you have this huge mountain here, and on the other side it's like bright and sunny and everything is blue water and trees, and look how happy this person is. But if you're stuck here, the problem is that if you're stuck here and if you stop, you're going to be stuck in the middle of the mountain. It's going to be raining and you're going to be miserable. So make sure you keep on going, go to the end until you reach the happy place. Okay, so yeah, that's just a quick pause, a quick check to see how you're doing. Make sure you like this video if you're enjoying this video series. Make sure you leave me a comment and tell me whether you like it. Share this with your friends, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. A multiple choice question, more than one answer. In this section, you hear a recording and you have to answer the question by selecting the correct responses. So you usually get 2 or sometimes 3 mark options to choose that are correct. Now you get 1 for each correct response and minus 1 for each incorrect response, and the minimum of 0. So make sure that you select answers that are right. If you're like 70% sure, 75% sure that the answer is right, select it. If you're unsure, then maybe don't select it. But I would recommend at least selecting 1 answer for sure, 2 answers, 3 answers if it's right. Yeah, there's no, based on your confidence level, you can determine whether you want to select 3 answers, 2 answers, 1 answer. It's just based on how confident you are. If you're a little bit unsure, then better not to select it, is what I would say. Okay. You get 7 seconds. Some general tips are: you get 7 seconds, look at the question first, and then skim through the answers. So as soon as you get 7 seconds before the audio clip begins. So during the time, look at the question, understand what you are being asked, so you know what to listen for in the audio clip, and then you can, if you have time, can even just quickly go through the answers. Look out for trick options with the exact words from the audio but opposite meaning. So again, PTE is out to get you, so make sure that you are not falling for these traps. 2 main skills: focus and comprehension. So focus and your ability to understand is super important. Like I said earlier, recommended methods: pick whatever method works best for you. So you can listen to the recording and eliminate the wrong options and select correct option as it is being played. So as the audio clip is being played, you might be able to select a correct option, or you can simply close your eyes, listen to it, imagine what is being said as a story, and towards the end just select the correct option. So I find that paying attention more towards the audio clip works better, but you can just try any of these and see which one works for you. Okay, so you can either select answers as the audio clip is being played, or if you feel that interrupts your concentration, you can just pay attention to the audio clip and then select the correct answer. All right, let's move on to the next one. Highlight the correct summary. Again, in this you get an audio clip and you just need to select which version is the best summary. Pretty straightforward. 1 for the correct response, 0 for incorrect response. Do not take notes in this section. People ask me if I should take notes. Don't take notes. Focus on what is being said and do your best to understand the meaning and the main idea of the recording. The more you understand the meaning, the better you stand a chance of picking the right summary. Do not simply look out for words that are contained in the recording and assume it is the right answer. Again, Pearson is out to get you. They will have these trick options where they will include certain words, but the meaning of that summary will be totally different to what is being said. So be mindful of where you have just certain keywords included in an option. Oftentimes that could not be the correct answer. Make sure you're understanding what the option means and compare that with your understanding of the audio clip that you listen to. You need to choose the paragraph that best relates to the recording. Many times options will have similar text, making them difficult to select the right one. Ask yourself what distinguishes this option from the other. Oftentimes it'll be 1 or 2 things that change the meaning of the lecture. Again, you just need to understand what is being said, pay super close attention, and if you have good listening skills, you will do well in this part of the exam. There's no really other tips that you need to know. Moving on, multiple choice, single answer, very similar to multiple choice, multiple answer, except that there's only 1 answer that's correct. Again, you have 5 seconds before the recording begins. Use this time to go over the question so you know what to look for. Try to skim through the answers if you get time. Yeah, don't select an answer just because the text contained in the recording. Check if the answer fits appropriately with the question. Oh, just a quick note, I found that more often than not, the answer is contained towards the latter part of the recording. So make sure you're focused all throughout, okay? That's the multiple choice. Single answer, select missing word is where you have an audio clip that is being played and there's like a beep at the end and you need to select what could be an appropriate way to complete that sentence that the speaker is saying. Okay. Pretty straightforward. 0 for an incorrect response, 1 for a correct response. Pay attention to the entire recording. The more you understand what is being said, the better your chances of being able to guess the correct word. Okay, let's look at an example here. Imagine that this is an audio clip being played. With learning, what you think about learning is a critical factor. the intention and desire to learn is also very blank. So here the options can be confusing, problematic, irrelevant, unique, important. Now the correct answer here is important because they're saying also very, and in the previous, when you say also, it means that there's a repetition of an idea. So critical was emphasized in the previous sentence. So another synonym for critical is important. So that's why important is the correct answer here. But if you just listen to this sentence by in isolation, you could say that it could be anything. The intention and desire to learn is also very unique, irrelevant. It could be anything. But if you've understood the previous sentence, that's where you stand a better chance of selecting the correct answer here. Moving on. Yeah, so that's all that we're going to cover. We covered all these main critical parts of the exam, and we've even shown you how to keep going until you reach the promised land. But yeah, that's it for this video. We've covered all the other parts of the listening section that are kind of not so important or that have lower weightage. They're definitely important, so you need to do well in this to get good listening scores. But we've covered all parts of the exam now, so that you're well prepared for the listening section. So that's it. That's probably the end of this listening section. I hope you're enjoying this course. Again, give me a thumbs up if you do, leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, take care.